George Bernard Shaw is an outstanding Irish playwright and novelist, winner of the Nobel Prize in Literature and one of the most famous Irish literary figures. The second most popular playwright in the English theatre. A government that robs Peter to pay Paul can always depend on the support of Paul. Beware of false knowledge, it is more dangerous than ignorance. Both optimists and pessimists contribute to society. The optimist invents the aeroplane, the pessimist the parachute. We don't stop playing because we grow old. We grow old because we stop playing. Life isn't about finding yourself. Life is about creating yourself. The longer I live, the more convinced am I that this planet is used by other planets as a lunatic asylum. People who say it cannot be done should not interrupt those who are doing it. I learned long ago never to wrestle with a pig. You get dirty, and besides, the pig likes it. A life spent making mistakes is not only more honorable, but more useful than a life spent doing nothing. Progress is impossible without change, and those who cannot change their minds cannot change anything. Now that we have learned to fly the air like birds, swim underwater like fish, we lack one thing: to learn to live on Earth as human beings. The possibilities are numerous once we decide to act and not react. Some people look at the world and say, "Why?" Some people look at the world and say, "Why not?" Don't wait for the right opportunity. Create it. A socialist is somebody who doesn't have anything, and is ready to divide it up equally among everybody. Silence is the most perfect expression of scorn. You use a glass mirror to see your face. You use works of art to see your soul. Islam is the best religion and Muslims are the worst followers. Life is a first draft, with no rewrite. Hatred is the coward's revenge for being intimidated. Experience fails to teach where there is no desire to learn. He knows nothing and thinks he knows everything. That points clearly to a political career. Those who can't change their minds can't change anything. The single biggest problem in communication is the illusion that it has taken place. Discussing vaccination with a doctor is like discussing vegetarianism with a butcher. The person I miss most is the one I could have been. Take care to get what you like, or you will be forced to like what you get. Just do what must be done. This may not be happiness, but it is greatness. Man is the only animal of which I am thoroughly and cravenly afraid. There is no harm in a well-fed lion. It has no ideals, no sect, no party. The secret to success is to offend the greatest number of people. A cigarette is a pinch of tobacco rolled in paper with fire at one end and a fool at the other. If at age 20 you are not a communist, then you have no heart. If at age 30 you are not a capitalist, then you have no brains. The things most people want to know about are usually none of their business. The fact that a believer is happier than a skeptic is no more to the point than the fact that a drunken man is happier than a sober one. Life is not meant to be easy, my child, but take courage, it can be delightful. Doing what needs to be done may not make you happy, but it will make you great. The only time my education was interrupted was when I was in school. Alcohol is the anesthesia by which we endure the operation of life. Power does not corrupt men. Fools, however, if they get into a position of power, corrupt power. The moment we want to believe something, we suddenly see all the arguments for it, and become blind to the arguments against it. Old men are dangerous. It doesn't matter to them what is going to happen to the world. Democracy is a device that ensures we shall be governed no better than we deserve. Liberty means responsibility. That is why most men dread it. We learn from history that we learn nothing from history. Where there is no knowledge, ignorance calls itself science. The trouble with her is that she lacks the power of conversation but not the power of speech. The truth is the one thing that nobody will believe. The more I see of the moneyed classes, the more I understand the guillotine. Most people do not pray, they only beg. Patriotism is your conviction that this country is superior to all others because you were born in it. If there was 20 ways of telling the truth and only one way of telling a lie, the government would find it out. It's in the nature of governments to tell lies. Success does not consist in never making mistakes, but in never making the same one a second time. No man ever believes that the Bible means what it says. He is always convinced that it says what he means. There is not one single established religion that an intelligent, educated man can believe. Imagination is the beginning of creation. You imagine what you desire, you will what you imagine, and at last you create what you will. Newspaper. A device unable to distinguish between a bicycle accident and the collapse of civilization. The only person who acts sensibly is my tailor. He takes my measure anew every time he sees me. Everyone else goes by their old measurements. Do not try to live forever. You will not succeed. War does not decide who is right but who is left. Dancing is a perpendicular expression of a horizontal desire. We are made wise not by the recollection of our past, but by the responsibility for our future. It is not enough to know what is good. You must be able to do it.